Today we're going to be removing the front drive shaft from the Jeep JKU, and the reason we're removing it is because I put a 3.5-inch lift on my Jeep and it has since exploded. As you can see, the CV joint has exploded, getting all this nasty grease all over the top there. Super fun. This is a pretty common problem for anytime you lift a Jeep, I think over 3 inches. I recently just put on a 3.5-inch lift, so kind of was expecting to have to replace the front drive shaft at some point, but not really this soon. The reason I think this is the problem is in four-wheel drive I'm getting really bad clicking, ratcheting sound when I turn the steering wheel in either direction, so I'm going to try popping this thing off. And I don't have a replacement part for it yet, so the installation on that will come at a later date, but just wanted to get it off of there just so I don't do any transfer case damage or anything like that. So here's how to remove it. So it's super windy out here. It's about to start snowing pretty soon, and I'm still pretty sick. So I figured it was a good time to get underneath the Jeep and start doing hard projects. So anyway, what I like to do to make hard projects a little less hard, sometimes that works, is I'm going to be removing the skid plate here so I can get better access to the bolts that are holding on the drive shaft onto the transfer case unit there. So go ahead and start. I believe it's an 18 millimeter to remove this, and there's 4 bolts. There's one right here on the frame, 2 right there on the frame, and then 1 more on over on the gas tank skid there. So I'm gonna pull those off and we'll see how it goes. Here are the bolts you're gonna want to remove, and I believe from what I read it's an 18 millimeter. There's 8 of them. Now the hard part about it is it's tough, you can't access the ones in the back, so what you do is remove these 2, you know, the ones you can get at, then move the Jeep up a couple feet or a foot or whatever to rotate this, and then you can start in on those other bolts there. So I'm going to do that now. And so I don't really want to jinx myself because I'm still on the first bolt here, but I was expecting to be passing and spitting penetrating oil all over this thing. These bolts are coming out super easy, so hopefully their next 7 go just as easy. So I kind of did jinx myself a little bit here. It's not really able to get a socket. I can get the socket wrench on there, but when I start backing it out, it starts clipping on this. So I'm going to be using the mighty 8 millimeter wrench here for probably most of these. So it'll take a little while, but they're coming out pretty easy. So I finally got the 8th bolt out. It was a little bit of a pain. One thing I found that worked with my situation, the size of my wrench, is with the wrench down here on the bottom ones, you figure those would be the easy ones to do, but they were actually tougher because when the wrench would start backing the bolt out, it would hit up against this and I wouldn't be able to do it. So I actually found that the bolts way up here in the back were actually way easier to do, and were much faster, and I could get the wrench on them. So whatever works best. It took me quite a long time to do this, though. It was a little bit of a pain. So hopefully I'll be able to get this off without too much hammer action, and so we'll see how it goes. Okay, now we're coming over here to the axle side. There's these 4 bolts here, 1, 2, 3, and on the other side there are 4. Those take 15 millimeter to get off, and I also added like a couple inch extension there just to clear the wrench. So I'm gonna take these 4 off. So these bolts were pretty tough to do. For a minute there I thought I was not going to get away with doing it without an impact wrench, but I managed to just use a breaker bar here, 1/2 inch. Had to use a little adapter there to get down to 3/8, and that ended up working. So it's a little bit nerve-wracking putting that much pressure on that, but they ended up getting loose. So a little bit of penetrating oil always helps too. So anyway, don't be afraid to get in there, but you probably can't do it with a normal hand, so you're probably going to need a brake. Okay, so what I ended up having to do to get to these other bolts is same thing as the last, just inching the Jeep up a foot or 2 gives you better access to these. So I'm going to pop these off, and hopefully this drive shaft will just fall right out. Okay, it's going to just fall right off. Oh, Oh, it did. Now if the other side just does the same thing, we'll be so happy. Well, I wish I would have got that on video, but success. I pretty much just kind of smacked the crap out of this thing with a hammer. They say to use a dead blow hammer. I didn't have a dead blow hammer, so I just used a regular hammer, but I figure the yoke here, which is this piece, is getting replaced, and I believe the drive shaft's getting replaced as well, so sweet, I did it. I'm gonna pop it out and hopefully that CV joint's actually messed up. Alright, there's my front drive shaft out of the JK. You can see this is in pretty bad shape back here. The boots popped. It actually isn't making sound like I was kind of hoping it would. I think that it's a pretty good chance that this is what's been causing problems. I guess there's a little click there, but anyway, it's shot and this thing's in pretty bad shape. So you can buy rebuild kits for this. The Terraflex makes one. I think they run about 130, or you can just replace the whole front drive shaft, which I think is what I'm gonna do. So anyway, I hope this helped you guys, you know, remove your front drive shaft there. It really wasn't too big of a pain. It's a little time consuming, but you know, it can be done with hand tools if you need. So anyway guys, good luck, and